Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. There are a lot of ways to grow food. Some of them can be kind of elaborate, expensive, and a little bit overwhelming for new gardeners. So I just wanted to do a quick video and show you the simplest way to set up a garden bed and the cheapest way to do it. And that's just basically setting up garden rows. You can plant anything in a row that's about 2.5, 3 feet wide. Make it as long as you want. It's the quickest way to get set up. You just turn your earth over, maybe amend it up a little bit. I'll put videos in the video description to help you learn a little bit about amendments. But if you want to get started, see if you like gardening, just go with a simple earth row. Let me show you a couple examples in my garden and in my daughter's garden on how you can grow in earth rows. Please subscribe and follow me. My garden's a teaching garden, so I have stuff set up in containers, vertical towers, raised beds, made out of wood, made out of metal. And you can really kind of travel along with me through my garden, learn how to grow food, and get some ideas of how maybe you want to start gardening. I really like focusing on gardening with new gardeners because it can be overwhelming. Back there we have some raised beds, metal, expensive. You know, if you're on a budget, you have to fill them. You can just do a simple earth row right down there. Should be about 2.5 feet, 3 feet wide, 75 to 90 centimeters. You can make the row as long as you want. The plants here are a little bit beat up because we had some weird weather. Just turn the earth, amend it up a little bit, put in your peppers. Here's a tomato plant. Here I have a walking space so I can get over to my tomatoes over there. Have a cold frame in this row. I use that to grow into the winter. And then the row continues down here. You can see a little bit more because I didn't mulch it out. Cantaloupe, green beans, nothing fancy. I mean, this is basically all you do. You can mound it up a little bit, but turn the soil, get your plants in there, drop down a trellis, another tomato, you know, and if the cold frame wasn't there, we could put in some zucchini, all kinds of different plants, but it would just be a single row from, you know, all the way back there, straight down. You can tend it, you can care for the plants a lot easy when stuff is in a single row. In between rows, if we had a second one over here, you want at least 3 feet so that when the plants grow in, you still have a walking path, you know, 3 feet to 4 feet, 90 to 120 centimeters. And again, you can adjust and set that up however you want to. But don't feel like you have to go buy wood, build a frame, fill it, do all that kind of stuff. Simple row. Let me show you another example on my property, then we'll get to one at my daughter's house. This is one of my other gardens, and it's pretty much just hilled mounds, and that's kale in there. Going across this way it's hard to see, but it's just a little mound, and it's about 2 feet wide, 60 centimeters. Everything in here is packed in pretty closely between, and here's another row right in here. This is endive that is bolting. The walking paths are only 2 feet, 60 centimeters, so stuff does get packed in tightly here, and it can lead to more disease and insect issues. So again, spacing between rows, if you're just getting started, at least 3 feet, 90 centimeters, up to 4 feet if you have a lot of room, 120 centimeters. In the rows here, here's a good example. You can see that it's just a mounded hill, about 2 feet wide, 60 centimeters, and it's just a long row. Let me get it. These are potatoes. And then I have my space here. A wider space would allow you not, like if you can see right in there, you see I've got some rope lifting up the potatoes because they fell over and blocked the walking area. So again, I just want to stress the space between the rows really depends on how much walking space you want. It depends on what you're growing. But we have a row of potatoes here, a row of potatoes here, little tiny row right in there, gate entrance, and then another row with some peas in there. It's just really easy to grow this way. And again, I want to encourage people to get out into the garden. You don't need anything fancy. And then we have a row going along the whole back of the fence area. We've got more potatoes up there, and I've got poblano peppers over there. The earth rows make it really easy to get started. You just mound up the soil if you want, add in your amendments, shape it a little bit. You don't need perfect soil. You don't have to spend a lot of money putting in seeds and transplants. The plants will take off and grow. That's what they're designed for. Over time, you can add in more amendments. You can make your own compost. You can build up the soil. To get started, I do recommend, you know, a nice row. That's a row of potatoes, row of potatoes, and then just kind of manage the space in between based on your preference. What happens for most of us whenever we're trying a new hobby or we're doing something that's, brand new to us, we can get overwhelmed. We can get paralyzed with having to research stuff on the internet, read about it, watch videos. For gardening, it's the earth row. Just get that built, put in some plants. You're going to learn as you grow, but you don't have to put out a lot of money until you know if you like it. And once you have the rows set up and you're growing, maybe you want to keep them. Next year, maybe you want to add raised beds. You can do whatever you want. You can add more rows. But the cheapest way really to get started is that earth row. You don't have to spend a lot of money buying amendments and building up the soil. As I was saying, you can do that over time. I think the whole goal really is to get into the ground and start growing and see if you really love gardening like I do, and like, millions, if not billions of people do. Once you get the bug for gardening, you can expand and you can change it up over time. But give the earth row a try. And again, please subscribe. I grow in all kinds of different ways. I don't necessarily recommend this for your garden, but because it's a teaching channel, you can kind of just pick out the ideas that you like and apply it to your garden. What makes the earth rows a great choice for new gardeners is you don't have to spend that money on amending it up. Just drop down mulch. That mulch is going to decay over time. It's going to feed the soil, the microbes. Earthworms will like it, keeps moisture in, makes things look good. If we dig into here, you can see, that this is, I have to dig pretty hard into here. This is clay soil, amended up a little bit, but it's not perfect soil. You don't need perfect soil. When I go to put in the different transplants, I just dig a hole, throw in a handful maybe of some cheap topsoil. I've got some manures and compost on my property. Throw that into the planting hole, mix it up, put the plants in. Sometimes people think you have to take all the soil in this space, turn it into this great stuff. You can just go planting hole by planting hole. Plenty of videos on that if you want to subscribe and follow me, and just check up planting hole and you'll see how I do it. Because you're just putting the amendments where the plants are, you're going to save money. The plants will grow. These are going to be beautiful. I did this last year and the plants were like 3 feet tall. These got rained on and this place got swamped, so they're struggling a little bit, but they're going to correct themselves and things will be great. Here's a tomato that was struggling. It's starting to come back too. And you can see tomato, some space, peppers in pretty closely together. Easy to come in and tend from either side. Birds can drop in here, move in, eat insects that you don't want in your garden. Really easy to set up and grow. I'm in New Jersey today helping my daughter set up her garden. They've done a lot of work. It looks beautiful. I just wanted to do a short video on really what's the cheapest way to get started and just show you what you can really fit in there. Cheapest way to grow food, not in raised beds. They're beautiful, but they cost money to buy and to fill. You can just dig an earth row straight down, maybe 2.5 feet wide. Make it as long as you want. We'll go over the plants that are in there. So we have a row right here. I will link the video that shows you how I built this in the video description. I built it last year. Here's another row. And then there's a piece of cattle panel supported by T-posts back there. Cucumbers growing up one side. This is not a big footprint. You pretty much can turn the ground over and you can pretty much turn the earth over, loosen it up a little bit, weed it out, and plant directly in there. Save you even more money. Of course, you can add in amendments and all that. But in this space, you already have 1 beautiful tomato plant, 2 beautiful plants, 3 beautiful plants. They're spaced probably almost 2.5 feet, maybe 3 feet apart. You don't have to space it like that. You could probably tuck in another tomato plant. So you could get 4 tomato plants in here. Back there are several cucumber plants. You could have cucumbers growing up the trellis. You could send beans up the other side. I'm doing another video on maximizing spacing for pepper plants. You can really pack them in closely. We're gonna end up, and some of the peppers are 2 per hole. You have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pepper plants in this little footprint. They can be planted like 12 inches apart. Put the metric conversion in the video description. So you can pack in pepper plants. You could have 10 there. You have the 4 tomato plants, you have cucumbers, you have beans, And then dropping back here, they have some eggplant. There's actually 2 coming up here. It looks beautiful. And a single plant. There were just 2 in the container when they planted it. They left both, and we're gonna keep them. There's about, I don't know, 2.5 feet, almost 3 feet in between them. That's spaced a little bit more than I would normally do, but it allows for airflow. By just using the row, you've got all the airflow over here. Birds can drop in. They can eat worms and bad insects off the plants. You can walk down there. It's easy to tend. We're gonna probably drop some mulch down here to define the row a little bit better, keep moisture in the roots. But in a small print like this, 2 rows, we could have up to 4 tomato plants, 3 or 4 cucumber plants, pole beans over there, 10 pepper plants, 2 eggplant. You could move one of those tomatoes in a little more closely when you're planting. Drop in a zucchini plant, you would have zucchini. Just a quick video just to show you that the easiest and cheapest way to grow, I think, is just doing a basic row right down your property. Do 2 of them, and you have a whole summer garden. Get yourself started. As time goes on, I think you're gonna love gardening. You could expand more rows over there. You could buy raised beds, do whatever you want. But don't let the fear of figuring out how you're gonna start your first garden stop you from getting started. Just start with a couple of rows. You'll be good to go. But what I think is most important is just to get out, plant it, grow it. Keep track of the spacing, how well plants are doing. You know, if maybe you concentrated a lot of peppers into one place, if that worked, keep what works and then keep it in a journal. So come next year, you can adjust the spacing, the planting style, and you'll continually maximize your space by learning and growing each year. Thanks so much for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com. I sell tomato and pepper seeds for $1.75 a pack. All other seeds, herbs, flowers, vegetables are only $1.50 a pack. If you're going to start growing, simplest way to do it is with the earth row. And again, thanks so much for watching.